Welcome back to the Emergency Power Podcast. You've made it through yet another week, so sit on down and charge up with us.
Yeah. Volume 2, baby.
We are on Volume 2. That's right. That was a finale last time. It was pretty epic as far as I'm concerned. You guys had to fight against 5E on an enemy ship, took down the ship. It started sinking. For some strange unknown reason, 5E tried to kill everyone on the ship, including Uzi, who made it on there. What happened?
It's because 5E has worms.
Oh. You.
We're going to have to take him to a vet. It's okay.
I don't even know what you give a sentient robot
down.
for that. Like, do you put something in my crystalline crunchies? I don't even eat crystalline crunchies. I don't even get to enjoy those.
That's just sad.
I think you can. It just doesn't do anything for you, if I'm not mistaken. If you just want to experience what Uzi is like on a day-to-day basis, just imagine what is it.
Oh
No, you should have to experience that.
I do.
This is going to become a subplot for my character now. 5E learns how to eat.
I'm thinking we spend this entire episode working on that. What do you guys think?
Wow.
Spoken like an unprepared
And
GM.
I think we'll go long on this one, so maybe like 2 to 3 hours of trying to help 5E learn how to eat.
Serious character development. Yeah, we're really going to have a deep dive. For those of you listening or watching, if you've got any substances that would improve that experience for you, you should probably ingest them now.
Crystalline Crunchies.
You're talking about soda pop and crystal crunchies and things of that nature. Maybe a popsicle, right?
Brought to you by them.
Yep. Maybe just a real strong cup of coffee if you want to just get crazy with it.
That just makes me curious to see what 5E would be like on coffee. Like he's usually kind of, subdued, very logical, very straight ahead. But what would he be like if he just had way too much energy?
The new caffeination program is working out splendidly. I can see time and space now.
I'm going to call you Mr. Coffee.
Well, I think we need to get into this. I'm excited to see what kind of food you eat first. We move out of the darkness and into the light of the blue sun. We rejoin Scriff, 5E, and Pawns aboard the Junker ship as it cruises out over the ocean. They've managed to retrieve Isbin Espa and even Uzi Puswoon, alive, more or less. Finally, they are safe forever, and nothing bad could ever happen as we head into the first chapter of Volume 2 of the Emergency Power Podcast.
Yes!
Sounded like that was going to be like the end of a children's story for a second. Like, ever
This is only
happened
the
again.
And everything was perfect forever.
Sure,
So
Adam.
we're flying along in this ship, and the first thing that Scriff is going to point out is we need to find some place safe to lie low and recover and honestly fix up this ship, because I don't know what kind of security measures are in place. This is Sworkus's old ship. It's ours now, but we need to make some modifications.
I
So we
agree.
need to find a safe haven.
Perhaps we should go visit Victor at the Temple of Triune. But I agree, ship's diagnostics would be a good idea. My own systems could require some diagnostic work too as well.
Yes, you're not looking so good. If I remember correctly, 5E's at 1 health?
1 health.
Yes.
Hooray! Okay.
One out of many.
Adam, do we have did we add Victor on our friends list? Can we message him?
I saved his location in Google Maps. It's fine. We'll just...
Yeah, like
did you get
know
back to
where
my
he
friend
is.
request?
it's in my don't get lost list. Just look on my phone.
You fixed up his computer when you were there, so I don't know if you left your deets on that or not. But
I think I would have.
Probably saw his email. Yeah.
Trying to slide into Victor's DMs.
I'm gonna try and slide into Victor's DMs and just ask him, you said that you were on a pilgrimage to Io. Where are you from, and would it be safe for us to lie low there?
So you send this message out, but you don't get any response right away. It kind of blinks with the sent message, and just kind of sits there.
Does the message say that he's red? Is it left as red? And he's just ignoring me.
Scene.
Just ghosting
It does not have any indicator whether or not he's seen it.
Okay. What do you think? Should we just like circle this planet and look for someplace that looks good?
We had
Like, scan the terrain.
Yeah, I guess we don't want to fly right into danger. Our main kind of places right now are giant diamond planet.
So yeah, the Diamond Eye of Triune was something that was thrown around by Victor, but as I remember, that's another planet.
Okay, and then there was the transponder, or the what do you call it? Thing out in space you wanted to find there.
The drift beacon.
Drift
yeah,
beacon.
I do want to check that out, but I think I think top priority is removing any security countermeasures from this ship that might hinder us.
Yeah.
And fixing it up, and also giving us some chance to heal up.
All right, so why don't we want shelter for ourselves in the ship? We're going to need food and water for the organics, and we're going to need a power source for me and the ship.
Can we cruise around I don't know how long it would take to cruise around the planet and look for other settlements.
Like an abandoned garage would be awesome.
Yeah, or like a scrapyard.
I mean, you guys know that a city was nearby. There's got to be other settlements near that, theoretically.
Right.
So yeah, if you wanted to fly around a little bit and just kind of get a planetary scan on this, you're more than welcome to do that.
Attempt perception. Would our perception checks be aided by the ship sensor package at all? I seem to recall
I think
that's a
if we're
thing.
using the ship's sensors, it would be computers.
Yeah, unless you're looking out the window and trying to do it by yourself, then yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be computers.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing I can do also. Would like to attempt a computers check.
Okay. Go ahead, give me some of that.
That's a fairly respectable 14.
So you guys raise up a little higher into the atmosphere, and you stick within it as you kind of skim around the planet a little bit. You know, you're not moving crazy fast, so it would still take probably a number of days just to circle this planet in its entirety at this speed. But as you get into the upper atmosphere, the scanners are able to spread out more over the planet. And what you're seeing just by this initial scan is that there's a lot of areas that seem to be covered with desert, but there's strange parts about them. Like some places seem to have trees that are sticking up out of the sand that are not inherently desert plants. It seems like these sands have spread to different areas of this planet.
Did we ever find the source of the radiation? Like, actually what was emitting it other than the plants themselves?
I thought it was the plants themselves that were emitting the radiation.
So could it be literally the core of this planet is those plants, or something has happened?
This whole planet is a giant plant.
This is a planet!
But also
Yes.
gay.
Forbidden planet.
I'm just curious, which one came first, the desert or the plants? Is the desert taking over this place, or did the plants start to grow through the desert?
Almost, the way you're describing it almost sounds like a terraforming accident that occurred or something.
That's how I was feeling. Yeah, but with like the buildings falling from the thing, like that would possibly be due to seismic activity.
Yeah, absolutely could be.
It was in the way of an interstellar highway,
Oh.
eminent domain, etc., etc.
Is there any radio chatter from other settlements or anything?
Yeah, you are detecting something from basically the other side of this planet. It seems like the radio waves are pretty constant. And looking at the mapping that you guys got, there does appear to be a large settlement, even possibly bigger than the one you were just in, over on the other side.
Should we try
Really?
there?
Okay.
What if that settlement is not any friendlier to our endeavors than the one that we were at previously?
We could try to radio them and see if they seem friendly.
Kind of getting the feeling that this planet is sparse on life forms other than these plants.
Announcing our presence without determining their intentions beforehand, to some degree, could be extremely dangerous.
What kind of radio chatter are we getting from this other city?
Good question. What was
Yeah,
that?
go ahead and give me a computer's check because it's not coming in on an open frequency.
24 this time.
Ooh.
Not like an advert for Tom's scrapyard. Come on down. We got all kinds of ships. We got red ships, blue ships, black ships, white ships, green ships.
Sensors! Tom's Garage is upgrading sensor packages all
I'm
week
practically
long at
giving them
crazy
away.
prices.
Crew member Scriff, I don't want to go back to the scrapyard. So you're getting chatter, and what it sounds like just from what little bits are coming through, it sounds militaristic in a lot of ways. So it's very possible that whoever's in the city is the more dominant military power on this planet. But
that could
that's
be
just
the-
speculation.
Could be the other faction.
That could be the other faction that came after us.
Yeah.
These signals appear to be consistent with military activity in terms of the broadcast frequency and the communication methods used.
Neither of these options seem good.
I think we should go to ground and attempt to repair some of our equipment, make any upgrades necessary to the ship, and be sure to run diagnostics packages on all hardware present.
Yeah, we'll go down surface level again on anything that looks like abandoned material that we can
Sure.
salvage.
So with the scan you have, you kind of got a general outline, and you head back over towards, not necessarily directly towards IO, because maybe that's not the greatest idea right away. What you're seeing is there appears to be settlements, small ones, that are just covered in sand. Maybe there's a windmill sticking out here and there. But eventually you can find a small town that has what looks like some standing buildings that were hidden behind a dune. So if you wanted to pull it down, park there, and shimmy that ship into a garage, you could probably make it work.
It's as good an idea as any.
I just like shimmy that ship. Sounds fun.
Yeah, in order for a good ship
Like
shimmy to
wiggling it.
happen, I will need a piloting check.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. That sounds like safest route. Who has piloting?
+8.
Okay.
I think that's about as solid as we're going to get here.
All right, well, I get a solid 12.
Okay.
You bring this ship down into this desert overrun town, and as you do, the jets are blowing sand out in all directions. As you come down, you clip the top of one of the roofs with the landing pad, just breaks it off. It looks like there was probably a repair station, some kind, for probably land-bound vehicles. It looks a bit of a tight fit for your ship, but a little maneuvering and you can manage to get all the way in until your nose bumps the very front of this thing.
Does there appear to be other humanoid life forms in this area?
Sensors don't seem to indicate anything, and just judging by what you're seeing as you look around, this place has not been repaired in any way, shape, or form for quite a while.
Okay.
We should be able to lie low here for a bit at least. Now that we are landed, 5E, need to take a look at your systems. You're not looking very good.
I agree that this is the best practice at this moment in time. 5E flips open a couple of panels on his arms and torso that would allow for data exchange.
All right. And I am going to do a full diagnostic on 5E and try to repair him.
Whatever he plugs into me, I will attempt to upload a worm into.
As you go to set up this system scan and you start plugging 5E into, I'm assuming Cat, Isbin Espa shakily gets to her feet and is holding where her arms used to be. She looks over at everyone else. I won't be in the same room as that goblin. I'm going to go find my own place to rest. Somewhere with strong locks. If you want to talk, I'll be around. And she just starts walking out of the room and down the hall. As she walks off, you hear a slightly distant voice, "Crew member identification, please," followed by the noise of something between irritation and surprise, and you just hear, "No. Welcome aboard, crew member, no."
It's
It's a well-oiled machine.
I thought she was going outside for a moment, and I was like, well, there's plenty of desert out there, but her arm has been at least enough taken care of that it's not going to cause her further problems, right? Like, it's not infected or anything.
You guys have not performed any kind of medical check on her. She just didn't seem to be comfortable in this room.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess who's the only one that has medicine?
Ah.
It's the one that she hates.
Weird, she said she didn't want to be around the goblin, but I thought I was the one that she was afraid of.
Well, the
She
goblin
didn't even look at you.
Yeah, the goblin, like, didn't do his attack her
according
when
to
they
her
first-
story, she was pinned. He came in, startled what you guys are assuming is S3, started attacking because it seemed like an easy target.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense for Izzy.
Yeah, he's a goblin.
I
The
do have
goblin's got a
medicine.
gobble.
Does she seem to want to be fully alone right now, or could I follow her without her being mad?
Kind of hit and miss.
All right.
Like she said, you know, if you guys want to talk, I'll be around. But she then also just kind of left everybody in the room. So it's kind of up to what you decide on that one.
All right, I'll leave her alone for a little while.
Okay.
Kind of need to get a rest in myself.
Yeah, okay. So let me get a computers check from you there, Scriff.
Well, that's unfortunate. I got a 12.
All right, 12 computers. Then I'm going to need 5e for you to give me a computers roll as well, as you essentially try to hack into Cat with this worm that you have.
Oh, I've never wanted a low roll so bad. Oh,
Yeah.
Jeff, today is not your day, man. That was a 26.
26, and what's the DC of Cat's
20.
countermeasures?
What was it?
Cat's hacking DC is 21.
Oh.
Ow. Welcome to the Robot Collective, I guess.
Is that how that works? I thought the worm was for like gathering information or something. What was the worm?
We don't know what it does other than
Yeah.
it spreads.
Oh,
We have
okay.
cookies, literally.
Tell me, Scriff, what your plan is as you get into the system.
So running a full diagnostic and then doing like repairs to heal him up.
Okay, sure. Give me, is that computers or mechanics? Or
Engineering,
sorry.
because he's an SRO. For the engineering, I got a 29.
Ooh. So how much does he get healed as you get in there, literally pulling pieces of scrap metal and small bits of plants out of them, welding things back into place?
The basic medkit DC to treat deadly wounds is 25. So I beat that by 4. So he'll heal for 1 HP per level.
Okay. Better
Okay.
than nothing.
That is absolutely better than nothing.
I am now 4 times as healthy as I was before. Thank you, Jeff.
And there's not a way for him to regain hit points without mechanical repairs.
Long
is that
rest.
correct? Oh,
Yeah,
you can't
I'll
Long
get-
rest
yeah.
and magic works, but it's half as effective.
Yeah.
that was the okay.
It's effectively just that you make a mechanics check instead of a medicine check to heal SROs. That's all it is.
I can also do, I think, long-term care, but that
Yeah.
requires basically bed rest for 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you just plugged into him. You could just shove him over on a bed and leave him there for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, I want to also take time to work on the ship, so I think just doing treat deadly wounds every day is going to be what I do for him.
Okay.
No arguments here. It would be pretty funny if you just shut me down and put like a Hawaiian shirt and a cocktail in my hand. Funny.
You wake up outside in the desert. You're on a lawn chair, and your legs
There's like
just
one
kicked out.
tree coming up.
It's like Margaritaville's playing in the background. 5 East. This is unusual.
And so as I'm finishing up my repairs on him, I'll say, 5e, have you had any recent recollections on your lost memories?
I'm afraid I can't report any such experiences, no. It is very frustrating.
If you like, we might try something. They use it for humans, but it might work for an SRO as well. Do you dream?
A curious question. As I understand it, the process of dreaming in organics is very similar to the data remnants elimination methods used in my own programming. So in a sense, I suppose you could say that I do dream, but I am not certain that I am capable of remembering them. However, it might be possible to retrieve such information and represent it to me.
I thought as much. So let's try something. I've got a couple of exercises we can do. If you're willing.
I'm open to suggestions and willing to try.
Alright. First, I'm gonna, have him sit down and turn down the lights to a
Yeah, we need some Barry
level.
White going on right now.
No. Maybe some classical music.
You put up the poster of the Vesk.
Yeah, some relaxing
Oh my god.
solo harp music. So first thing I'll do is I'm gonna try a little word association. I'm gonna say some words, and you just say the first thing that comes to mind. There are no wrong answers. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to analyze the electrical responses that come from his cybertronic network, if any.
Instructions
Okay.
acknowledged.
All right. First word, head,
Brainstem.
green,
Red.
starship,
Interstellar conveyance.
lie,
Assertion of incorrect data.
friendly,
Allied subroutine.
sick,
Suboptimal performance.
angry,
Heightened emotional state leading to violence.
salt,
Mineral deposit.
child,
Protectant.
choice,
1-0. 1-0. 1-0. 1-0.
As you're going through this process, your mind begins to drift, and minute system restrictions begin to lift to allow free association between thought, generating as close to a dream state as an SRO can have. As your thought process begins to wander, first, a cockpit of a ship begins to build itself out, and then it populates with controls, lights, and eventually a landing pad beyond the windows. A large toad sits in the pilot's seat. They are starting the ship up, and they seem to be in a hurry. Occasionally, their tongue will flick out and hit one of the buttons on the ceiling. From your perspective, you're standing passively nearby and observing the action, but you're left with the distinct impression that you're trying to protect this person. Something in your dream snaps together, and your attention is drawn to the closed door to this room. You can feel something there, like the door is about to explode open, but it doesn't move. As you turn back to the pilot, you find Oozy Pusswound sitting in a bubble bath in front of the console. They're visibly panicking, trying to get the ship to go. A loud pound on the door jars your next servo back to the entrance. You activate the weapon sheath of your right arm and lift a rose made of diamond like a club with the intent to defend this pilot to the death. Another pound at the door. You hear a whimper from behind you and look to see that you are no longer in a ship, but are instead in a field of dead grass and burnt trees. A tall, lanky being stands with their back to you, limbs abnormally stretched to the sky, their three-fingered hands splayed in pain or reverence. You slump to your knees, holding the diamond rose out in front of you. As the figure begins to turn towards you, a black fog begins to swirl within the clear crystal of the rose. The dark wisps swarm and overwhelm the rose as petals begin to drop away. You begin to feel a foreign feeling of panic washing over you. You look down and start trying to pick up the petals just as the face of the figure comes into view. The wilted petals burn away into the ground as the dead grass catches fire. The fire spreads wildly. As you look back up, your sensors alight on the wreckage of the Stella Delar, bathed in flames. Without wanting to, you keep looking up and see a figure in the flames once more. This time you see S3 holding a flesh and blood arm with pale skin and 3 fingers on the hand. He still has the face of the human on, but slowly a smile creeps across the dead mouth. And with jarring suddenness, you are ripped from this dreamlike simulation and brought back with Scriff looking at you. The unpleasant and alien feeling of fear remains, along with the firm belief you are on the very cusp of recovering something from your memory banks.
5e, can you hear
Battery
me?
integration processes rebuilding.
Are you all right?
My system has rebooted. I appear to be mostly functional. That was a strange experience indeed.
Did you get anything out of it?
I did. If I may, 5e turns to a data terminal nearby and begins typing. And he's basically going to give Scriff a write-up, a very technical description of the events, people, objects, and places that he's just witnessed in the remnants.
Okay.
Getting like an iRobot's just complete flashback. It's great. Just like the super fast sketch.
Also, Adam, A+ on the imagery there. That's some freaky
was
stuff,
cool.
man.
Oh, thank you
That
very
was really
much.
cool.
That's not from my head, that's from 5e's. So I can't take credit.
5e, I think that's enough for today. Good work.
Scriff's looking at it like, oh boy.
Yeah, we're out of time. We'll have to schedule for next week.
I am happy to repeat the exercise if you believe it will be fruitful.
Possibly. Yes. This seems to have been productive.
Thank you also for your efforts to repair my circuitry. I expect further
course.
repairs and diagnostics will be necessary in the near future, however.
Yes. And I think with that, I'm going to start trying to make repairs to the ship.
So 5e has enough engineering skill that he could help Scriff with any repairs and upgrades that he's doing, and that would probably be what he would prioritize, but he'd also be willing to make survival checks to help forage for food and water so that the organics on board are taken care of, or perform medicine checks to check on Captain Espa and Uzi. So he's ready and willing to fulfill any role that's needed. Because he realizes that this is a stopgap situation of we've got to regroup, we've got to get all of our stuff in working order before we can act on any intel.
Yeah, pawns can actually do healing magic every day on, every day that we recover our stuff. You could do healing touch on Isbin, since she doesn't want the goblin or 5e to work on her.
Yeah, I've got a couple methods of healing, so if we need multiple people healed, I think I could manage that. We're thinking like 3 days. Do you actually roll for
why
it?
don't we start one day at a time for now and kind of get a feel for how things are going? So you guys could spend the rest of this day just relaxing. You've been through the ringer trying to get out of IO, trying to find Isbin Espa. I mean, if it was me, I probably wouldn't want to do anything for quite a while.
Well, and Isbin just went through a traumatic event. They probably need time to recover, not just physically but psychologically.
Absolutely. Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and take a long rest, and you can get your points that you heal back from that, get your stamina, get your magic slots back, all that good stuff.
Candusville. Okay. Man, at least I got stamina again. That feels good.
Yeah, I'll do my healing touches, and I have a spell as well, I think, that heals. Yeah, Mystic Cure.
So
expend
when you
those
wake up, you're going to
couple
expend
times.
those?
Yeah, just get everyone
Okay.
back up, full HP.
Okay, so tell me who you're going to use these spells on, because there's a lot more of you guys now.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of
You
wanted.
don't need to use it on me. I'll be fully healed in 2 days.
Okay, yeah, I kind of wanted to check on Isbin.
Okay.
I kind of feel bad for 5e. Let's check on Isbin.
I can do engineering checks on 5e.
Yeah.
So feel free to give me that engineering check whenever you so choose, Scriff.
Yep, take your +2.
Not enough. Only that's with the +2, it's a 24.
Oh. That
No
missed
extra
by
healing
1,
today.
right?
Yeah.
So, pawns. You start looking around the ship, and you find there's a back cargo hold, and there's a few doors that splinter off from that direction. You go to open one of them, and it is locked, and with your mind, you can easily sense that Isbin is on the other side.
Okay. I'll kind of like tap a couple times with my small little hands on the thing and put my lack of head up to the door and like, Isbin, are you there? It's Pons. I was just gonna come and check on how you're doing. Hello?
You hear some shuffling going on in the room, and then the door clicks and slides open. Hello, Pons. How are you?
Well, been better, but as more important, I'm trying to figure out is your arm doing okay? Well, I kind of look at the lack of arm and are you doing okay? There's no infection or anything, is there?
You can see that it's bandaged up. It seems kind of crudely bandaged up. So whoever was treating her, whether it was done by her or one of the Gurgatal, it doesn't seem like they did it well. So
Yeah.
just by cursory glance, you could tell that it probably has some issues.
Okay.
It hurts, and it feels sometimes like it's still there. Both of them do, but there's nothing that can be done. Unless you happen to have spare arms lying around.
Yeah, I can't help you with that. It'll probably continue to feel a little weird, but I might be able to do something about the pain. And,
If we get some UPBs, I can fashion some prosthetics.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be cool. And I'll kind of wrap, if it's okay with her, I'll kind of wrap my arm kind of around where it's not decapitated, amputated. That's the word I was looking for. The amputated arm is. And
You wrap your arms around her decapitated torso. And
yes. No, and I'll use Healing Touch to regain 5 hit points there.
As you cast that, you can see her visibly relax a little bit, and some of the color kind of comes back into her face.
That's good.
I appreciate it, Pons. You're an interesting one, and I'm glad you made it through the crash and out of that city.
Oh, me too. I've been trying to figure out more about maybe your dreams and such. I'm particularly interested in the prisoner.
Well, you and I are of similar minds in that respect. I had more or less the same dream every night, to the point where I would wake up screaming or be unable to sleep at all. I had to maneuver sleeping drugs from my captors just to not die of lack of sleep.
That sounds kind of awful. Well, hopefully everything will calm down a little bit more now. And I'll give her, for this first day, I'll cast my Mystic Cure as well, just to see if there's any more healing that she might need. And that's a D8. I'll go ahead and roll that.
Ooh, nice.
Woo, okay, that's 11. That's a max roll right there.
Wow. 11, very nice. Okay, you cast this over her, and you thought she looked better before. Now she looks drastically better.
Except for those arms.
Except for those arms. There was essentially a chunk of flesh missing right around the rib area where the other arm had been ripped out. And that heals over. You can see it filling out under the bandages that are there.
It doesn't pull a Deadpool and just like grow a little baby arm.
I think you're going to need a slightly more powerful spell to do that.
Yeah.
Just mentioning that is just cringeworthy.
just how Pons doesn't like the gore and such like that. He kind of shivers for a moment as he sees that grow and is like, well, okay, I think that's enough. And I'm going to kind of wander back and see how the others are doing.
Thank you, Pons.
Well, I think at this point, after healing or attempting to heal 5e for the day, I'm going to start working on the ship and performing what upgrades I can with whatever salvage we have lying around and whatnot. So the first thing that I want to work on is getting a functional drift drive in this ship. I don't know if it'll work. Like, I don't know if we can actually jump, but I want the option if the opportunity arises. I have a feeling that there aren't any drift beacons that we can lock onto.
I mean, it's going to be quite a hodgepodge mess from just things you can find lying around this scrap town, but you can give it a shot, certainly. Why don't you go ahead and give me an engineering check for that, too?
25.
25, okay. All right, so that, of course, is going to take some time. 5e, were you going to get in and help with that?
Yeah, my hope was to just assist on checks, but I could also perform independent tasks if Scriff wants to instruct 5e on what he needs done.
Essentially, the more people working on this, the faster it's going to go.
Do you just want the next thing that I was going to work on?
Sure.
So the next thing on my list, because I put them in order, was a front ship tether as the new weapon on the front of the ship.
Ooh.
All right. And 5e exits the ship and heads to the bow and begins installing the tether unit.
Okay.
His check result is a 25 for that installation.
Wow, 25 is all the way down. This is going to kind of take some time. So if there's nothing else you want to do today, we'll just have another long rest.
Yeah, I think it takes you have to work a minimum 8 hours. Yeah, so my first roll was a 3-day, so the drift drive would be...
Okay, let me have a roll from you as well, 1d4 there, 5e, as you work on this new weapon in the front of the ship.
Oh yeah, everything's coming up robot with a 1.
Nice.
That's a good thing.
That's good, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's the number of the days, not
That's
the
number of
efficacy.
days
Okay.
that it takes in order to work on this thing. So you're doing that quick, fast, and in a hurry. 2 of you work on this thing for a while. Pawns, if there was any other healing you wanted to do throughout this day, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
Before we just kind of move on to the next one.
I've got a couple more spell slots I could use and get 5e up a little bit more. And I believe I already used most of those on Uzi, so he should be at full health.
Yeah,
I'm
his
not
health
mistaken.
points are fine. He's just got other issues like broken limbs.
Oh.
How do we
Well.
repair those?
Long-term care, most likely, which would probably be a me thing.
I could do medicine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Either one of you, if you guys want to take the time to do long-term care on Uzi, that would certainly
I'll-
speed it up.
That requires a medical lab, which we don't have.
Damn it.
Can we do
Well,
any sort of
You guys
splinting
can
or anything?
still do medicine checks each day, and it won't be as effective as long-term care, but you can try to help.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. If you want to continue working on repairs, 5e, I'll try to help Uzi.
Acknowledged.
Adam, that was a 24 for medicine.
Yeah, so you're basically splinting up his arms and legs. He seems like he's got one leg that's working okay, the rest are not so great.
Oh.
Yeah, he's complaining a lot, like, oh, arm hurts, no, squishy pawns, why? You know, basically just complaining for the sake of complaining.
As he should. Yeah. I think he deserves it at this point.
Go ahead. Whatever spells you're going to do. As we move on to the next day, people can take another long rest to get more health points.
All right, I'm back up to full.
Very nice. As people lay down for their rest or go into low power mode, we're going to cut over to somewhere else. The candles flicker and throw their wavering light across the shadowed hall. They waver rapidly as an old door opens slowly. The now well-oiled door slides open silently as a rotund figure is juxtaposed against the light of the room without. The figure waits patiently for permission. A cloaked figure basking in a sea of candles gestures to enter, shutting the door and approaching with a crisp salute. The newcomer relays his report. Most ordained commander, I come bearing triumphant news. Our royal guard has retrieved the husk of the unknown ship. It is in transit to the capital at this time under stringent guard and secrecy. Its crew complement is yet unfound, but a widespread search has begun. In addition, the assault on the heretics' stronghold was successful. The walls have fallen, their soldiers were killed or captured, and their leader has run off like the beast that he is. A more complete victory I can scarcely so. The body has been cut, but the head remains. The congregation of the Guragatal is of no value without its preacher. These followers were swayed from the truth by a voice stronger than their own. While they will find redemption in time, the Vesk never will. Instead, another cavern will serve him, and another flock shall gather. Our victory in the fallen of Aya Orde is as hollow as the city. The soldier's eyes remain rested on the floor just at the edge of the candles. A bead of sweat begins to roll down his plump neck. However, liberation of the holy artifact is most heartening. I am humbled by the kindness of divine charity. I will personally attend to its arrival. As for the head of the Guragatal, we shall soon relieve it from its body. Those who rode the artifact from the sky must be found. It is of incomparable importance. Attend the oversight of this just cause yourself. Go and see it done. With a second crisp salute, the subordinate turns on his heels and heads for the door. As he reaches out for the handle, his hand freezes in place. Archduke Pathon, keep in mind this passage. While soldiers can absorb the pain of failure, their leaders must absorb its price. So the next day, you guys wake up within your ship and continue on with the upgrades and repairs of yourselves.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with us. Just flavor for the people at home. Fleshing out backstory in campaign world.
Does 5e want another system to work on?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up is the aft weapons, which is a gravity gun.
Ooh.
Very good.
Oh
Sounds
man,
exciting.
we're moving into Half-Life territory.
This new weapon system should be fascinating to experiment with. 5e looks almost giddy as he's going off to install this. You wouldn't think it's possible of a robot, but he actually seems happy about something. And that is a 26 to install the gravity gun. And do I also need to make another D4 roll to see how long that takes?
Yeah, give me another D4. You did that one very quickly, but...
The gravity gun's going to be a little bit trickier than that Ford system. It's going to take 4 days.
Ooh, 4 days, okay. All right, so you guys have some more time. Is there anything else that you want to do?
Yeah, 5e will just ask Griff. How is our supplies of rations?
Well, I've got about 3 days left. And have we found any supplies on the ship? I think at this point, if we have not searched the ship, it is time to do so.
That would probably be a fairly good plan. There are some very old, stale rations on this ship. They'd give you another 4 days or so max, because some of it's just inedible. It's like a brick. A lot of this ship has been stripped down and removed because it was something that was being worked on at the time by Sworkus Gore. So it didn't have a bunch in the way of supplies. However, why doesn't everyone go ahead and give me a perception roll as we search the ship?
Yay, natural 1 for a 7.
Oh, Scriff. Are you
just gonna
back
stop
on
rolling?
Are you back on the drugs? Are you taking heavy negatives again?
Found something
No.
on board. That's a 25 for pawns.
25 for pawns. Okay. And how about 5e?
18 perception.
18 perception. So with a 25, you find a few interesting things, in fact. In the crew quarters, you find a little panel that you just pop off, and inside you find a cred stick. Seemed like someone wanted to keep it to themselves.
Money.
Is there a way to see how much is on there?
Yeah, you could just plug it right in and find out there's 1,010 on there.
Nice. I'll take the cred stick and stick it into one of the folds in my brain. And then,
Aw.
That's such a neat and also kind of disturbing trick.
That's kind of like the Yosoki cheek pouches, but
until you like start to forget that stuff was in there, and then you're like, oh, what is this?
now is that
Pull out, like,
because
old
you
potato.
just forget inherently, or because you put it in your brain and poked something that made you not remember very well?
Who knows? But I didn't want to ruin my suit that's already been damaged quite a bit.
The other thing you find is of a similar nature, in fact. Towards the back of the ship in the cargo bay area, you find that there is a panel that can be pulled off the wall, and behind it there is a large open area. It seems like some sort of smuggler's hatch.
Hey guys, check this out. I think we might need Scriff. You'd probably do best in spaces like this.
Yeah.
Small, dark, tight spaces.
Yeah, I'll crawl in and take a look. So it's like a little smuggler's compartment.
Yeah, it looks like you could cram a couple people in here at least, maybe more if you really squeeze.
Nice. Is there anything in there right now?
This, unfortunately, is empty.
Okay.
That's probably good. If people were getting smuggled in there.
Spiders!
At this point,
That's awesome, though.
oh gosh, yeah.
We can like pull a Han Solo on them and sneak into the.
Oh, that's
smuggler
very
compartment.
true. That's when the thousands of spiders will come out.
Oh, man. Just full of electro jellyfish.
All right, so one thing I'll give to you, because I don't want you to forget about it there, 5e, is you also picked up an interesting item when you guys were about to fight Sworkus Gore. grav boots that can attach to the side of hulls and things like that. And if I'm not mistaken, you need to take a little bit of time to resize those bad boys.
I do. I put them in my locker until I had an opportunity to work on them. If that's something I can do now, then yeah, I'll definitely put some time on that.
It's basically just an engineering check, as long as you have an engineering kit.
That I might not have.
I can do it for you.
Okay. Awesome, yeah. Or if I can just borrow your kit, I can make the check either way.
It's my custom rig, so I think it's only compatible with mechanics.
All right, go for it.
That's a 24.
Very nice. Okay. With elbow grease, duct tape, and a little bit of grit, you managed to resize these things. You had plenty of extra material to work with, so taking it down is a little bit easier. So you hand them over to 5E, and they look just your size.
All right.
Those are the Gravitron boots, whatever those are called? Yeah. All right.
Mag boots. So 5E reattaches them to his leg pieces and says, "Perfect. These are now optimal for extra vehicle repairs."
Nice.
While it's flying, you could just be walking out on that.
Yeah.
That won't go wrong at all.
I'm gonna R2D2 this shit, dude.
That actually would look amazing. All right, as Pons is seeing kind of everyone just keep on repairing on these things, and I really don't have much skills in that. I'm gonna make another recording here, just to log kind of what has occurred in Pons's mind up until now.
Is it time for another Pons pondering?
I think it is.
Yay! Oh boy. We need a jingle.
We do.
Oh my goodness.
If anyone out there has the ability to make music and would like to make a jingle for the Pons Pondering to be featured in the Emergency Power podcast, please hit us up on Twitter at EmergencyPWRPOD.
Yes. Is this going to end up being like the little ethical lesson at the end of every show like they used to do on like He-Man and G.I. Joe?
No, not at all. Pons's mind is...
You say that now.
Nothing so helpful.
Maybe eventually. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Pons's growth.
Okay.
There to dive into the mind of what has transpired according to Pons.
Oh boy.
So I kind of wander back towards Isbin Espa, and I mean, if people are walking by, I'm not really going to care too much, but I'm going to try to keep it down a little bit as I talk into the recorder. Hit the button, say, "We recently located our captain. What is left of her has provided little answers to our questions. After trudging through sewers and that are filled with hungry, mutated vegetables and a city of walls and elevators, we finally found ourselves a spaceship. Scriff seems very excited. Somewhere along the line, the robot must have surpassed his data limit and had to operate with low bandwidth. This seems to have sent him spiraling into a rage as he attempted to fly off with our captain. I fought hard to secure the captain, and eventually we ended up taking down the enemy ship. I've heard of others talking about a space beacon or something and a large ball of diamond. Neither of these places seem very promising for my mission. However, they may lead us to the one called the Prisoner, who supposedly has something to do with the current state of this planet. I hope for more to be revealed soon, but for now it seems like we're taking a short break, and 5E and Scriff are having a fun time with repairs and such. Hopefully we get more weapons aboard. This is Pons recording, log 2, out.
Bravo. Bravo.
That was beautiful. I love Pons Ponderings. The way Pons is thinking and how his brain works is just so out there that it's ever entertaining to me.
Yeah, he's very narrow focused, even though he seems to usually go along with things. The way I can see Pons' mind right now is operating in a very goal-orientated manner, but hasn't fully described maybe why he's on that mission yet to 5E and Pons.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of time to talk about what you guys are looking for or trying to get away from, depending on the situation. While you guys are repairing this ship, Scriff, you get a reply.
Oh, good.
Pull that thing up on Cat, and it reads "Church destroyed, in hiding," and that's all that's on the message.
Oh no. I'm gonna relay that to the group. It seems that Victor is no longer the the patron of this church. In fact, there is no more church.
Should probably.
I'm gonna message back. Do you need a lift?
Winky face.
Winky face.
Have him convey coordinates.
Yeah, give us your coordinates. We'll come get you.
Okay. Couple hours later, you receive another message that has a string of coordinates. Your ship shows that it's near the edge of Io, and the rest of the message reads, "Going dark, patrols around."
All right. Well, I guess that's all the time to do repairs that we have. Let's go pick up Victor.
All right, so you guys pick up your tools, throw them back on board.
Oh, there's one more thing I want to do.
Oh?
If you'll allow me the time, like while everyone else is getting ready. Very
Present
important.
your case.
So while everyone is like packing up the last of the stuff, Scriff is going to go out and paint the new name of the ship on the side of the ship.
Tell me.
So he paints. It's very crude, and hopefully we'll get a chance to fix this up nice. But the name of the ship is the Second Hand.
Wow. All right.
Very appropriate. Speaking of the ship, the VI aboard doesn't really have a name either. Did you have any thoughts on that? Did you want to change it? Did you want to leave it as "Leave Me Alone"?
I delete the AI.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Scriff, it's been nice knowing you. You are my best fruit.
No, I haven't given it any thought. I haven't had enough time to sit and talk with the VI to come up with a name. There was some other stuff that I wanted to do with that as well, because we haven't really done a sweep of the ship to like remove any countermeasures that Sworkus Gore might have put into place, which is something that I wanted to do, but haven't had time. So it'll have to wait until another time.
Okay. All right, so you paint the Second Hand on the side of the ship, climb back aboard, and as you guys start trying to get out of this garage, I will need a piloting check from 5E.
All right. Piloting like a boss with a 21.
Ooh. All right, you've gotten the hang of these controls now. It was a little shaky coming in, but this time, smooth as silk. You've worked on this thing, you know it inside out now. Slide back, pull the ship out, and gently swoop over these dilapidated buildings. And you start heading over towards Io. It doesn't take terribly long because you guys stayed within a fairly close proximity. So less than an hour later, you come up on the coordinates. As you start pulling down, you can see that this once was a massive gate, maybe one of the main entrances of the city. A road leads up to it, but it is also covered by blue sand. As you pull closer, on the sensors, you see a small figure moving fairly rapidly out. Then you detect a few other small figures close behind. Through the window, you can see gunfire in the darkness coming out of this place. And then you see Victor, a small little Victor, running as fast as he can. Then from the darkness, you see these soldiers cloaked in these red outfits. From where you're at, it's kind of hard to see more detail, but they have these flowing cloaks on them. And Victor is diving into sand pits. He's running as fast as he can. Is there anything you do at this time?
Yeah, I'd like to try to maneuver the ship in between Victor and the soldiers to give him cover, and we'll just open the rear hatch and let him hop on board.
I'm gonna hop into the rear gunner seat and fire that brand new gravity gun at all of
Yes.
those soldiers.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Because this is a gentle maneuver to try not to squish Victor, I'm going to need another piloting check for that. And then go ahead, Scriff. Give me a gunnery check.
Piloting 23.
All right.
Very nice. How about that gunnery check?
Well, my gun attack is a 10. I'm not even aiming it at anyone. I'm just kind of like shooting it out
just
into the
this
distance.
wave of gravity.
Yeah.
Okay, so as the ship swoops down and comes real close to the ground, Victor jumps down, covers his head as you move through. Scriff jumps on this gravity cannon, just swings it over. Sand is just flying up into the air. And as it gets to these soldiers, they dive out of the way as this wave of gravity lifted sand just overwhelms the opening of the city. You guys hit the button and the stairs lower down into place. And Victor grabs onto the railing, pulls him up into the ship. I imagine you guys now lift off and take off from this area.
Yes.
Small arms fire just starts bouncing off the side of the ship, doing literally nothing. As you guys...
Initial weapons test successful. This vessel is becoming much more formidable after those upgrades. I am impressed, Scriff.
You did just as much work as I did.
Does it reverse gravity, or can you change that and like direct the gravity where you want it?
In ship to non-ship combat, it's kind of up to interpretation. In starship combat, what it does is it messes with their speed and like their initiative rolls or something like that.
Okay, so like destabilizes enemy ships.
Yeah, it makes it harder for them to fly around.
Still a really cool idea. The fact that like technology like that exists is just awesome.
Yeah, so this ship is now built to like do quick assaults and getaways.
Yeah, and ship weapons are not supposed to be used on small humanoid targets. Like a regular ship cannon just obliterates anything in the area. So it would be terrifying to see this gravity wave just throwing everything all over the place.
Nice.
Okay, so you guys open the airlock and find Victor inside. He's been shot in the back, and he's just kind of leaning against the wall, blood dripping down his robes. I wish I could say that it was a thorough pleasure to see all of you again. Don't get me wrong, it is, but... And he just kind of leans against the wall again.
I'll go over there and healing touch, get him back up 5 HP.
All right, you hear a bullet fall out and drop on the ground as he begins to heal.
Is there a safe place that we can take you?
May I sit down somewhere for a moment? He's still kind of breathing hard.
Of course. 5e, find somewhere to go that can get us out of this skirmish.
Directive acknowledged.
If you guys don't have a particular destination, you can just kind of pull out over the desert.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to terrain follow for a little while, and once we get into an area that's not populated, I'll probably put it on like an autopilot for a certain radius so that I can go back and talk to Victor and help out as well.
Perfect.
Would it be safer for us to go into orbit, maybe?
Is the ship orbit safe right now, or does it need more doodads added to it?
I mean, you guys have gone to upper atmosphere, but you haven't tried to leave it yet, so hard to say.
I think going into orbit introduces an extra variable we shouldn't pull in right now. If for no other reason than that those guys are going to be looking for the ship now, so if we stay close to ground and kind of keep a low profile, then...
Harder to track.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
You start pulling out, just kind of flying low over the terrain and just kind of watching the endless desert for a while before putting Leave Me Alone on autopilot to just kind of chill in the air. Directive understood. Stood.
We really got to fix that. That's
It's part of his personality. Come on.
I think this hard drive might need some defragmentation.
After you put it in park, essentially, you head back over, and Victor is sitting on one of the beds. There's a few near the cockpit, and he looks up at all of you. I admit I was not expecting to ever see the three of you again.
Thanks
There
for the
was-
vote of confidence.
It's
Welcome
not
back.
that I did not believe you could handle yourself. It is more that, well, as I mentioned, my church was destroyed, and well, let's just say I'm glad the same fate did not befall the three of you.
Your analysis of our odds is not incongruous with reality. We faced significant opposition. Sworkus Gore was a mighty opponent indeed.
Ah, so you faced the Vesk, I see.
He ended up running away from us, actually. Yeah, we
Really?
That's definitely
really.
what happened.
It
I'm
would be
gonna
more
need
accurate
all
to say
kinds of bluff checks.
no, because I'm going to ruin that for him right now. It would be more accurate to say that Sworkus Gore turned his attention to a more formidable target than us.
And I kind of shrink down for a moment. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of more what happened.
Ah, that must have been the Ceylan Royal Guard. They're the ones who destroyed the church.
Are the Ceylan the civilization that owns the large settlement on the other side of the planet?
Forgive me, I forget that you're not from here. The city of Ceylan is the biggest city on the planet, and it is where the most ordained commander has his stronghold. If a ship was to come down as yours had, I can only assume that that's why they arrived in Io when there was truly no other point to do so. And he looks over at 5E's arm and sees the little triune symbol dangling there still. And a little smile crosses his face for just a second. That is where I was pilgrimaging. Ceylan City. Let me just say that when the unforgivable sin took place, there was a splintering of the faith. There are those who still believe in the just and kind will of Triune, and there are those who took a more malicious approach, shall I say.
Is this most ordained commander the leader of a religious order?
Yes, they are a part of the religion of Triune. However, from the perspective of my church, it is a perverse and cruel interpretation. It's why I was willing, perhaps more than willing, to go to the church in the middle of a destroyed city. It was a gentler fate, perhaps.
Do we have any other questions for him? Specific, like, as far as the new information that we learned?
I have lots of questions. Tell me more about this Diamond Eye of Triune. You said it before, it was a planet in this system, yes?
Yes, the Diamond Eye of Triune has been given a colloquial name. The people here call it the Gravelodon.
That sounds like some
Sounds like a
giant
dinosaur.
monster. Yeah,
The rock monster.
Graveldon. Maybe it's like a rock monster.
It's just a really big pet rock.
Yeah, Gravelodon as in like gravity,
Oh,
not gravel as in something you skid your knees on.
no. Palms don't pick up on that. Giant dinosaur rock monster is definitely in his head now.
Just a diamond dinosaur.
It's just floating out there in space somewhere.
It's like a cursed
Like looks up
signifier.
and
Don't,
like, yeah, that must be
don't
what it
think
is.
of a rock T-Rex right now. Don't you
And-
dare.
As Pons looks up at nothing and imagines a diamond dinosaur, we will see you in the next chapter.
Oh my God, Adam! Why?
All right.
Why right now? We're
Look
in
what
the
you
middle
did,
of our
Ripper.
questioning.
Look what you did.
When life drains you down, charge up on the Emergency Power Network. Theme song Triangles by Diamond Ace. Find them at bandcamp.com. Music provided by Nicholas Judy of Dark Fantasy Studio at darkfantasystudio.com and Tabletop Audio. Find them at tabletopaudio.com. Font Azonix by Mixo. Find them on Twitter at MixoFX. The Starfinder role-playing game, including its official lore and images, are the intellectual property of Paizo Incorporated. All rights reserved. Narrated by Danny Lee Collins.